learning and computer visions represent 60% of the tech clusters.
So that's an interesting gap for founders, entrepreneurs when looking at obviously the barriers, but also the opportunities, which leads me to my next question. We have Amazon, we have Google, we have NVIDIA, we have Microsoft. Intel is in Africa as well. What makes you quite an important player in this development of the ecosystem and bridging that gap, that $100 billion you mentioned, right? So what's your role in Africa in that sense?
Thank you very much, Andre, for this question. And then I'll start by saying globally, you know, when you talk about the digital infrastructure, right, you have, I would say, Intel technology almost everywhere, right? And one thing I want to mention is that semiconductors are the underlying technology that's empowered the digitalization of everything. And this is being accelerated by the 5 superpowers that I talked about earlier, including AI. In Africa, what we're doing is that we're leveraging our technology, our global scale, to help solve African challenges. So I do have colleagues on the African continent that actually, you know, engaging as technology advisors with government, engaging with consumers, like, you know, the computers that you have there that might have our logo, you know, the desktop and so on. I have colleagues that are engaging with Ministry of Education in terms of the education, but also colleagues engaging with telecom operators, right? And so having said that, in addition to that, we also engage, and that's part of the first part of my work that I talked about earlier, engage with government to foster, you know, harmonized policies across the continent. For example, in areas such as spectrum, for example, for 5G, but also Pan-African AI policies. We work with Smart Africa to contribute to the development of the Pan-African AI blueprint, for example. Now, specifically coming to the DeepTech startup ecosystem, based on the outcome of the report that we just talked about, we identified that there are 6 key focus areas that interventions are needed. And talking about, you know, 3 key areas: digital skills development need, access to R&D resources, and, you know, university and research institution collaboration. We actually just concluded the first edition of the Intel Liftoff for African AI Startup Hackathon. And in fact, we did that one with Modis Africa VC, and it's concluded on the 29th of September. What that did, it's helped us actually to bring in African AI startup into our Intel Liftoff program, which is a global program, virtual program, but it's provided focus on Africa. And so those startups that will be part of the program will kind of have opportunity to, you know, get access to knowledge, technical know-how, right, of Intel. And as I said, we are 120,000 employees worldwide. 85% of those employees are engineers. So we believe that there is, you know, there is a great contribution we can bring from that perspective to the African startup or deep tech startup ecosystem in building the technical capabilities and engineering know-how. The second initiative we have, it is what we call the Train the Trainer for African deep tech hubs. So there, what we're doing is that we're engaging with the hubs in deep tech, such as AI, to share with them the different programs that we have. Intel Liftoff for Startup Program, Intel Developer Cloud, the Intel One API initiative, because we work to foster open ecosystem. We also share with them our AI tools at Intel. But at the same time, we also listen to the hubs. We want to hear from them what they are doing. We want to hear from them what are the programs, and then we engage in a conversation to see how we can work together. And we believe in that, you know, two-way conversation, and I think that is the way that we can make meaningful impact as we contribute to the development of deep tech in Africa.
And just come back to the hackathon, which is your first hackathon in Africa, which we collaborated on. From an investor perspective, the quality of founder and technology that we saw throughout the hackathon was spectacular, almost outlier, I would say. But let me ask you this. Because you have experience with hackathon globally, it's a global program. I think it's worth sharing with the public what was your perception of the quality of founders and tech know-how that came into the Africa program versus global program?
Well, I think great question, and I would just recall the comment from one of our tech leaders, because the tech leaders that actually supported these hackathons are engineers that support Intel globally. And so it is not that you carve a team and then focus only on Africa, so you get the global expertise. And the comment we got from those engineers is that, well, these teams that we got for the startups and AI are one of the top of what they've seen globally for the hackathon they have been running. And the second aspect, they say that these AI startups are tackling relevant use cases that are relevant to Africa and potentially relevant to developing countries.
And the way we saw it as an investor is as if it was Silicon Valley startups, but actually solving meaningful problems. So very exciting. If we shift gear, if we look at the continent, and you mentioned a few challenges happening, especially with the infrastructure, where do you see the most immediate opportunity in terms of countries or jurisdictions, and what do you look for if you want to develop the ecosystem?
Yeah, thank you very much. When we look at the African continent, of course, we start with Tunisia, right? In Tunisia here, we have the great example of the Stadip, right? Yeah. The great work they're doing. In terms of policy, you have the Startup Act, that actually, came out, one of the first countries that enacted actually the Startup Act on the African continent. And then you have also other countries, North Africa here, Morocco, Egypt, and in sub-Saharan Africa, like Kenya, Mauritius, South Africa, Nigeria, just to cite a few. But those are countries where you see, development of national AI strategies. For example, the latest one is from Rwanda, where they have specific areas where they want to use AI to improve, right, the life of people, to create, job opportunities and to create wealth. So I think the movement is ongoing. Work still need to be done, but I believe there's a good momentum.
And you touched on that already being collaborative and working with others, but given your role as well is government affairs, and let's talk about data policies, privacies, and so forth. How are you involved with governments in educating them or getting on board into the deep tech ecosystem? Really top level.
Yeah, thank you very much for the question. And I think this aspect is a very important aspect to foster the development of AI on the continent. And so in terms of policy engagement, I engage at the continental level with the African Union, but also, and then African Telecommunication Union, Smart Africa, and the sub-regions. There have been a lot of work that have been, part of as our engagement with Smart Africa. For example, I understand that currently Smart Africa is gearing towards the finish line in terms of the development of a continental data governance blueprint, which I think will immensely contribute to help or to support countries in developing the national data governance policy. But as part of that, you have, as you mentioned, the need for having data protection and privacy, right, on the continent. So that effort, I work with key countries, I'll put it that way, but most importantly with Smart Africa, because it is important to see how the policy or regulations that are put in place could be harmonized or potentially harmonized across the continent. Because if you want to foster a single digital market which is presenting Africa as one market, then you will expect that you have more or less one regulation. Of course, we do have 50 plus countries on the continent, which make it very challenging, but it's feasible, and that is the work that we're doing together with Smart Africa on developing those different policies.
And I'm not sure how much time we have, but I definitely want to keep some time for any questions. So let me ask you, let's go more centric towards the founders. You've been in the continent, you've been in the tech for quite some time. If you could share some advice to founders, entrepreneurs in deep tech in Africa, what can you share with them? I know you're not an entrepreneur, but I think it would be interesting to see it from you.
Yes, I mean, what I'm going to say, I think embarking on a very noble, I'll say, mission. And then why did I say that? Because in Africa, we have a lot of challenges, which means that those are opportunities, and having, funders and entrepreneurs willing to tackle those challenges and take advantage of the opportunities, I think that is, that is something great. Of course, as we usually say, we all know that the road is not going to be easy, but once you really get there, you will see the massive contribution you're making to the continent. And I think that's really, and this I'm saying it not only as working with my current company, Intel, as African, but also as based on my experience on what I've seen elsewhere out of the continent. And so I think they play a very critical role on fostering socioeconomic development on the continent.
Yeah, and Cinda again mentioned something, a good analogy this morning when she said, without infrastructure, it's like a coder without a computer to a certain extent, and it's hard to prove your thesis and work on it. And I know from our side as investors and being part of the ecosystem, being able to see global players like Intel coming to Africa, having the hardware, and obviously doing that knowledge transfer of on the coding side, I think it's quite a catalyst for the founders. So I think for me, I'd like to tell my portfolio that you're not alone. But one final question before maybe we take a few more questions. If we go bottom up and we look at the ecosystem builder, the founders, and remove the government, for instance, how do you see the knowledge transfer between Intel, between the ecosystems and the DeepTech, the DeepTech ecosystem?
Yeah, thank you very much. As we look at the African DeepTech ecosystem, there are different stakeholders, right? You did mention, whether it is private sector, the VCs, university research institutions, the hubs, and so on, right? And so from our perspective, we want to see where we can make the most impact. And that is the reason why we actually conducted the study, to see where the key challenges are. And we actually did hear from the ecosystem itself, because as we were conducting the first study, we had workshops in Abuja in Nigeria, we had workshops in Kenya with the VCs, and also workshop with the entire ecosystem players, to hear from them as we conducting the studies. And in fact, I remember it was last year in July, the ecosystem were asking, okay, you're doing the studies, are you going to make them public? And then at that time, what I said is, okay, well, let's see. But then in the end, both reports are publicly available, and then you can access that. So the key aspect for us is to where we can intervene and make the most impact. And then as you said earlier, what we did in a hackathon is to bring our technical know-how to help, to upskill, yeah, right? The startup in that ecosystem, the hubs, and so on, plus working with Modest Africa and other stakeholders to bring in the value that they can add to that. So I think that's where we have a holistic, approach in fostering DeepTech in Africa.
Well put. I think there's another slide. I'm not sure who's in charge, but on the other slide, there's links to the memos, both from Dr. Bienvenu and maybe not. Okay, anyways, I'll be happy to share that. But maybe lastly, if anyone has any questions for yourself, please. I'll give you this one, we'll share.
That's okay. Thank you. Merci André, merci Monsieur Docteur Bienvenu. Vos questions sont pertinentes. Thank you. I heard about Intel that develop many programs in Africa. The last and the oldest company with much programs in environment, the IE student the hackathon and many programmers. We talk about infrastructure for AI in Africa. We talk about access to internet, we talk about developed skills, but when we talk about infrastructure, I want to hear you about the cost of computing resources. I want to hear you about that. Thank you.
Okay, great. Thank you very much for your question. And I think those are questions we get when we talk about what are the challenges that people in Africa they face, because there's another study done by the GSMA, but also another data from the ITU, which says from the GSMA, if you look at Africa, you have around 81% of the people that are under at least 3G coverage, but then you find only 40%, if you are more optimistic, or less, that are using the internet. And therefore, there's a reason of usage gap, right? Of 40%, the coverage gap is about 18 to 19%. And some of the reasons that comes there, it's access to devices, the skills for people to use, and so on. Now, coming to the issue of cost of devices, I think I would like to provide you with a perspective in terms of how we enable the digital economy. So we create the technology, right? When you look at the laptop, is the processor that we put, whether it is in the computers, desktop, whether it is in the data center and AI, or telecommunication networks, autonomous vehicle, and so on. And so our customers are those who actually build those computers. So, we are not in a position to be able to say how much it's going to cost, because we're just providing the component. Having said that, what we're seeing in some of the countries in Africa is that some governments are looking at different schemes, engaging with the suppliers of those devices. For example, you have program for teachers, for example, or you have the program for students, for example, right? And then they work, you have government, banks, and telecom operators, and so on, that have program over a couple of years to see how they can, spread over, the cost of those devices.
I could add maybe from an investor perspective, and I don't want to say that we foot the bill, because building technology is quite expensive. It's directly to your question, right? And what we're trying to do, and especially Africa, we're trying to find these partnerships, such as Intel, to be able to bring into our ecosystem, into our portfolios, but also for our portfolios to be in their ecosystem. And eventually, this allows a bit more economies of scale. I don't have a unit economics for you, but obviously we're trying to grant an access to these technologies for them to grow. And I think as the companies grow, hit their Series B plus and so forth, then it's a bit more standardized, right? But we see the big gap early stage, because it's expensive, and that's when you build. Last question, maybe?
Thank you both for the insights. Dr. Bienvenue, you mentioned the second study regarding spin-offs. Could you expand on that, like the key findings you mentioned?
How much time do we have? So the second study is on evaluating the African DeepTech spin-off ecosystem for the lab to the market. And the reason why we did the second study is that when we were doing the first study, we found that most of the startups that are doing DeepTech or that are employing DeepTech, they have no connection basically with the universities or research institutions. And therefore we did the second one with Simono Hong and a hub and Wits University in South Africa. So for that study first, and then as we did for the first study, we have to define tech clusters, right? Because we talk about deep tech, so you have to define what is deep tech within that context. So in that report, we defined 10 tech clusters. And then it's, the report is publicly available, and then you can see it. So most of the tech clusters you have, among them AI, machine learning, data, cloud, and edge. 7 that were in the initial report, and then we added 3. The 3 other tech clusters, you have biotechnology, you have nanotechnology, and then hydrogen and fuel cell. How did we come about those? Is based on the data that we got publicly available in terms of the spin-offs, and then, the sectors in which they are, And that's what helped us to refine the tech clusters. Now, the key findings, if we talk about, just to go about the key findings, we found that biotechnologies is the tech cluster that is most used, 43% of the time. And then in terms of the sector, we found that health tech, right, the healthcare sector is the one that is actually, using most of the deep tech, around 33% of the time. Of course, we also have AI in the third place there. An important aspect there that we identified is that it's very difficult to find information publicly available in terms of the spin-offs, in terms of the research. And we think that that's a huge gap. Why? Because if you don't know the research that are available to be able to assess the opportunity that is going to come out of that to potentially create a spin-off, that is not only a lost opportunity, but also you see that that's something that can actually contribute, right, on how we develop the deep tech startup ecosystem on the African continent. There's a bit more, but because of time, I hope that that's okay, and then we can take it offline once the panel is done.
Dr. Bienvenu, thank you so much for being here, and thanks everyone for listening to us and the questions.
Thank you very much for having me. Thank you.
Thank you, André. Thank you, Dr. Bienvenu. It was a great fireside chat. So now, again, one of the strong moments of this AfricArena Tunis Summit, the pitches. So we're going to call for our jury to join us here, where you're seeing their tables and chairs. So I'm calling for Mr. Abdurrahman Shawi from Sandemo. I'm calling for Dr. Poumvali, Stellenbosch University, and Mr. Tarek Shulaifa from GSMA. These are our juries, and I hope our startups are ready. We're going to have 4 pitches: Dracos, Anavid, HealthTech, and We Settle. Please, I'm calling again for Dr. Poumvali from Stellenbosch University and Mr. Tarek Shulaifa. So, yeah, Dr. Poumvali and Mark Claver, sorry, from DDC. Sorry. Mark is here. I know Mark. Dr. Poumvali. Okay, so we're just taking 2 minutes. Please stay with us so we can watch and follow our pitch session because there was a bit of a confusion. They thought we would be running out of time, but I managed to get back the time, so they took the decision to tell them it's going to be after lunch, but we still have time. We still can do it, so they're bringing them back in the room. All transparency, so you know everything that is going on. So we need you to stay with us for 2 more minutes before we kick off this pitch session. As I told you, it's going to happen with Dracos, Anavid, HealthTech, We Settle. These are our 4 startups, and for the jury, you have them on screen. Abdurrahman Shawi from Senmo. He's helping, I think, getting them back in the room. Mark is already here. He's always on time, Mark. Thank you, Mark, for joining us. And also Dr. Poumvali, he's joining us, I think, in a few moments for this pitch track, DeepTech. Thank you, Ahmed, for joining us. So as I told you, it's going to be Dracos, Anavid, HealthTech, and We Settle. So Nat, what are the news? Do we have everyone we need? Okay. We hope that the doctor feels well. The doctor is a bit sick. So, We're joined by the great Max Cohen. Thank you for joining us, Max. We have our jury, and we're going to start. It depends. I don't want to do what happened earlier, so let me see who's first. Please pass the presentation. So these are all startups joined by Cumulus Water. These are for our startups, HealthTech. We settled Dracos, Anavid, and Cumulus Water. Can we go next, please? Thank you. And we're going to start with Dracos. It's my lucky day. The only one missing. All startups are here. True story. So, 1, 2, 3. Let's see the door open. Nat, did you find Dracos? Did you find Dracos? We move to the next startup? Okay, next startup. Do not look at So, Anavid. Anavid are here. Yes. Anavid, oh my God. You have been pitching yesterday, today. Good luck to you. You have 5 minutes. When the 5 minutes are up, you will hear it, and then you will listen to the music. That means you cannot talk anymore. It's over. And then you will have 3 minutes of Q&A with our excellent jury. The floor is yours.
Thank you. Thank you, Wasim. Hi, everyone. Let's talk about retail. You told about retail this morning, and Anavid we will talk with on retail with another angle. So I am Amit Shari, CEO of Anavid. Anavid is a startup with a clear mission, reinventing retail and boosting profitability. Today, retail still works with the old way, no caring about customer behavior. The shoplifting represents a big loss for retailers. Just we take a pause. I continue talking about it while the image come back. So, yes, it's. I was saying about shoplifting problem and how much volume of loss for retailers. It's calculated and estimated on hundreds of billions euro. And in another hand, the conversion rate is still low. Even the physical stores are receiving very qualified people. So they don't have metrics to improve continually the customer experience. Retailers cannot improve what they cannot measure. This is why we built Anavid. It's a solution that enables retailers to measure, analyze, understand, and make data-driven decisions in real time. We use artificial intelligence, computer vision, data analytics to provide retailers in real time actionable insights to improve the conversion rate. We built 2 solutions, shoplifting detector and shop analytics. For shoplifting, the system is quite simple. We plug our software on the existing CCTV system in the store. Our system is analyzing in real time any gestures, and once it detects any malicious intent, our system alerts in real time the store owner with a video notification. He has to watch it, analyze it, qualify it real theft or not, and take the right decision. For our second product, the Shop Analytics it's a platform that aggregates different data and delivers to store owner the recommendation to improve the conversion rate. In just 1 year, for shoplifting, we had deployed for a major retail brand. And for Shop Analytics, we signed our first contract to deploy our platform for 43 stores with the leader of clothing brand in Tunisia, Zen, and with Fatal is a leader in cosmetic field. Our market is estimated in million stores, but we choose to start with 5. Food retail, do-it-yourself, pharmacy, clothing, and cosmetics. And we start with Tunisia, Sweden, France, and Germany. Our business model is quite simple. We invoice shoplifting per month per camera and shop analytics per month per store. We will deliver a new release for shoplifting to be deployed in more 100 cameras. And next year, we will integrate our solution to Hikvision, the leader of camera video surveillance manufacturers. And we will be able to generate €2 million revenue in 2025. To be able to do that, we raise 1.2 million, especially that it will be invested in sales, marketing, and continue hiring Italian people. We are an international founders team with operations based in Tunisia. We are very proud that with our team, 15 AI engineers in Tunisia, and most of them are women. Thank you very much for your time, for your interest. You are welcome to join us to change the customer experience in the physical stores.
Thank you. This was Zanavid pitch. Jury, 3 minutes. The floor is yours.
Thank you so much for the very nice presentation and congratulations for your achievements so far.
Thank you.
I have one question related to your market strategy. I see that your co-founder is in Sweden and you're between France and Tunisia.
Right.
Is it how you, is this the main reason why you chose to address these markets first? And what's your next plan in terms of market expansion, and how do you specifically address these, the markets that you're already addressing?
Right. So we are in the retail intelligence sector. So we address a market with a good maturity to be able to improve the customer experience after resolving a lot of issues related to logistics and cash registers, finance, etc. So for this reason, we have to address some category of chain who already well organized internally to address this kind of problem. And we are very well positioned as we are from Tunisia and we address our nearest market, mature market in retail in Europe. And with that, we achieve some success very quickly.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for the presentation. Appreciate it. Well done. So
Thank
what
you.
has been your single biggest challenge and how have you overcome it?
So our first challenge has, for shoplifting, if I start with this product, it was a technical challenge because we have to reduce a lot the false positive. And we have to generate a lot of data to create our own model of AI. This is a technical challenge that we have already resolved it and found for it a solution. And with that, we are positioned as the second provider in the world with a reliable solution for shoplifting detection.
Thank you.
Thank you for the pitch. I'm curious, so what would an ideal partner look like for you, and how does that plug into what you're currently doing on the user acquisition side? And congratulations on already moving into Carrefour.
Thank you. So our approach to go to market is to address directly the big account or the corporate with a lot of stores, and also we create our own ecosystem, especially with camera manufacturers, to to integrate our algorithm into the camera.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot.
Do we have time for a last question?
Q. My president says no. Okay. So, next, please go back to the Dracos. So we were supposed to start with them, so we're getting back there. It's going to be the pitch for Dracos. So please join us, Amedla Soli. Are you ready? Please, the presentation, Dracos. Whenever you're ready, we start. Okay, go.
Hello, good morning everyone. My name is Amedla Soli. I am 24 years old, young Tunisian entrepreneur, and I am the CEO of Dracos. So Dracos is a startup that's basically specialized in wastewater treatment and water quality industry too. So basically, nowadays water scarcity and climate change have been on the rise, and there is a lot of dangerous and scary statistic. One of them is like drinking water price will increase by 55% by 2020-30, and the global waste demand will be outstrip supply by 40% by 2030, which is not actual right now. The current solution that is in the market right now, there are our domestic osmosis, which are basically have some of the weaknesses, which are removing health mineral salts. The costs are a little bit high for average middle class in our society, and the low recovery rate and low water flow rate. So this is our new product here. It's a water tap that is basically can be easily installed in the kitchen, in the sink of the toilet too, and it removes 95% of the leads, which is the rat, sand, and bacteria. It basically works with a simple technology, which is 0.5 micron of ceramic filter and activated charbon. So this is the whole packaging here. As you see, the jury, there is the adapter. Is very super user friendly. You can install it yourself. You have even your Teflon. You are the plumber of yourself here. Our competitor, there are actually a lot of competitors, but the one that we fear the most is Brita, because they have the same quality as our product. The rest, they have very low quality. So the competitive advantage we have is the switching option in the filter. So the user can choose either he used the raw water filter or the water purified, and the user can clean up the filter, which can extend the lifetime of the machine too. So our technical KPI are that we have a water quality report, and we have more than 1,100 recorded experience in wastewater treatment and water quality. So we are experts. Okay, now let's talk about money. We sell our product with 50 USD in Tunisia, but the replacement filter is with 9.5 USD, and we have made 40K only in 2 months without customer acquisition costs, only with our network. These are some of our clients, the B2B and the B2C. One of our B2B clients is Sanofi, which is one of the biggest pharmaceutical company in Africa. Here, okay, our impact now. We have our user, he can buy a simple water plastic bottle, but in Tunisia it's being a little bit costly actually. It's 1 dinar, it's 0.3. Actually, why are you using our solution gonna be cheaper, 12 times cheaper than the current solution. For the environment, Dracos removes 2,000 plastic bottles every 4-6 months. Okay, for the ask. For the moment, we are fine. We are profitable, but we are looking for the profile of the investor, not the money itself. We are looking for an investor with a wide and strong distribution network in Africa, knowledgeable in hardware and software, and believe in Draco's values. Yeah, but okay. For the rest, don't worry. We don't forget you. Bring your popcorn and watch Draco's flying. We will contact you during the second semester of 2024. This is our team. My name is Aminallah Souli, Hanan, Khaled, who are basically young engineers in chemical and in web developing. Okay. 1 year ago, I visited Cape Town and I learned 3 basic things, and it was a very deep experience at the spiritual level. 3 basic sentences: you have to let the dragon came to you, you feel like home, and they got your back. These are the 3 sentences that every South African knows. I would say we believe that Dracos is not just saving water, Dracos is unifying the world in order to maintain peace and sustain humanity. So one day the world will feel like home to all of us. Thank you. That's it.
3 questions, thank you. This was Draco's speech.
Okay, thank you for the presentation. I'll maybe help us get started. So you mentioned you have B2B customers, you have B2C customers. How are you reaching them at the moment, and what is the different strategy to reach both?
Okay. For now, I start only with contacting people on Messenger, and that's it. Showing our product. I think we see one of our clients, he got contacted like that, and people start liking the project and start telling other people about the product and the solution, and people started contacting us. So this is how it works.
Okay, this is well and good for now, but what are you thinking then in terms of scaling that to reach 1,000 businesses or 100,000 B2C customers?
Yes, we're gonna use the distribution channels, but now we're gonna focus on distribution channels through some influencers. It's gonna be most e-commerce and most of it sponsorship. Yeah.
Thank you for the presentation. I have a question about your unit economics. Can you tell us a bit about what does it cost to build it? How do you price your product? Do you have different pricing strategy depending on the market that you're targeting, and whether it's B2B or B2C customers? And a few hints as well in your product development strategy.
Okay. Actually, the product is being developed in Dracos. It's designed by Dracos in Tunisia, and it's made in China, because we all know that China can have a very low cost. For the second question, actually, about the pricing here, okay, you can see that we are offering a price a little bit higher than our competitors, but the difference here is that we are making the filter replacement so cheap to the users. So this is just a strategy because we are a startup and we need just to raise cash so fast, and then we're gonna. This is the difference between Brita and Dracos. That's it. This is just a pricing strategy. And we are offering the price based on the value proposition that we are building. And it's linked actually also to the vision of Dracos, that we want to make recycling water accessible to everyone. But our solution now in Tunisia is a little bit cheap and everyone can buy it. Yeah.
Thank you for the presentation. Very interesting. Anything to do with water is interesting now. So a couple quick questions. Number one, how did you establish a $50 price tag for this? And I think you said $50 one time, and then replacement filters are $9 or $10 US?
Yeah,
so
9.5.
Where did you come up with the $50? And how long does the replacement filter last?
Okay, I will start with the second question. The filter placement, actually it depends on the state. I would say the truth. It depends on the state, but it takes between 4 to 6 months. And about the cost, as I said, we are selling the value proposition. It's $50. We share the price, and everyone confirms, so we sell it.
Thank you.
Okay. Last of all, wait a moment. I would love to thank a greeting from Tunis to London to Mr. Emir Bigasim, who is the first client ever to Dracos. And I want to say thank you for believing in us. That's it.
Thank you. Mark, if I can answer your question, I'm just a moderator, but to tell you the truth about my experience, he threatened me to buy it. That's how he does on Messenger. He sends you 1,000 message. Yeah. Till you say how much, I'll buy it. Thank you, Dracos. Great entrepreneur, great story, great product. That was Dracos. We're moving now to back on where we were earlier, HealthTech, right after Anavid, please, for the present. I'll do it if you want. Yeah, there you go. HealthTech, the floor is yours.
Can I start?
You're ready.
Okay, thank you. So I'm Bilal Gassara. I'm a scientific researcher and CEO and founder of HealthTech startup. So HealthTech is specialized in green hydrogen and oxygen generation for metal-based industrial and energy conversion application. Let's begin with the problem. So the current oxyfuel solution, current oxyfuel welding solution suffer from multiple problems, multiple issues. This technique is based on two separated tanks, the first for oxygen and the second for hydrogen, the second for acetylene. So this solution has multiple issues. So first, these gases are controlled by third-party supplier who control the quality, price, and availability. Also, another issue is the high carbon content, which has a negative impact on footprint carbon. So we offer metal-based industrial application, an alternative oxyfuel welding solution that is green, powerful, and 300% reduction in cost. This is our product. HyoGreen 4000 is a machine based on can be powered by solar panel, which can split water into hydrogen and oxygen separated gases. So these gases can be used in welding and brazing and metal cutting industrial application. Okay. So HyoGreen has more advantages. First, it powered by solar panel, which can generate green hydrogen, is carbon neutral. The exhaust water is just water vapor, which is safe, is more energy efficient and on-demand production. We not need the storage of gas. About the market, so we propose to substitute acetylene gas. So the global market of acetylene gas is about $10 billion. So 30% of this number is for the Africa market, and our target is to substitute 10% of acetylene used in welding and metal cutting application. HyoGreen has extra applications, so it generates green fuel, which is green hydrogen, and we can produce green ammonia. Also, it can be used in medical application and energy storage based green hydrogen. So this is our grand vision. Actually working on prototyping another product is energy storage station. So based on green hydrogen, just we convert renewable energy to hydrogen and oxygen, which will be stored in separated tank, and by using fuel cell we can regenerate electric power and water vapor. So actually we are started from here to generate hydrogen. Okay. So about customer, our beachhead market is metal industry, metal-based industry. Here I talk about welding, brazing, and metal cutting application.
Can we fix this, please?
Actually, I do have a
Yeah.
question in the meantime. Thank you
Okay.
for the presentation. Very interesting.
Okay.
Can you go back quickly to your unit economics? So it's $5,000 US dollars per unit.
Yeah.
Can you explain a little bit your unit economics in more detail?
Yeah. Okay. So explain the price.
Just the entire, the unit economics. So you're selling it for this price and input and output.
Input or output?
Both.
Both. Yeah. Actually, we started by the local market, and we sold our first machines for our first pay customer. It's with price less than 5 million, so to access to the market. But this price is proposed in our business plan studied. So. Thank you.
I presume you're going to get to the later stage where you're going in the rest of the presentation?
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, so this is unusual. Sorry for that.
Okay.
Actually, it
Maybe,
was less
yeah,
than a minute
maybe,
left, so you can really...
maybe in the
truly start
meantime,
questions.
sorry, maybe in the meantime you can explain to us your history. For how long have you been doing this? And in terms of time scale, when are you planning to launch like the next application? That sounds very promising.
Yeah, okay. So about history, so we're working on research work at to generate hydrogen and oxygen, and especially from the COVID, we launched a project with the Digital Research Center of SFAX to build a machine to produce oxygen and hydrogen for medical applications. So this is our point of start. And after this, we participate at the Technoriat program. This is a next station to pass through academic and research, scientific research to entrepreneurship. Yeah.
And why did you forget about the medical application to turn into welding?
Okay, we didn't forget about medical application. Medical application is a very important application, but it requires a very long way of certification and homologation. So for this reason, we oriented directly to the industrial application. Yeah.
And just coming back to the earlier point, how much does it cost your team to produce one of this welding or hydrogen emitting machine, and is it produced in Tunisia?
Yeah, is full production in Tunisia.
Okay.
And with industrial partner, of course.
And how much does it cost you to produce?
Cost 2,500 $2,500.
Okay. And for you to actually put this into a particular facility, does it require manual installation? Does the company send and ship this unit to a factory or whoever is looking for it?
Yeah.
Okay, and how quickly does it start to actually operate? Is it a long onboarding process to put it into work?
No, just not very long process, because we have the technology, and we have the partner. We can do that in a very short time. Okay.
And maybe a question about your team. Are you the only founder of this company, and who is surrounding you on this?
Yeah, of course. So I have another slide about team, about
you're much better than the slide, believe me. You are the entrepreneur talking about your team. You don't need the slide for that. Tell them about the team, right? Believe me.
So
if I were you, I would have gained the time and introduced your business.
Very nice. Okay. About the team, we are 3 scientists, and we have mechanical engineering and we have a professor on finance with us, and also we have an engineer in biological engineering in our team. Is made by 5 individuals in different fields, with about an average of 20 years of combined experience, combined academic and industrial experience.
I'm sorry, just in terms of expertise, just in terms of complementarity and expertise, like who does what?
Yeah, I'm electrical engineering, and I'm the CTO. My is a co-founder. We are both in electrical engineering and just scientific researcher. So Anis Summit is a professor in finance, and also Munir is our partner industrial and is mechanical engineering. Fatma is specialized in biological engineering. And we have professor in génie du procédé and process engineering, so it advisor. So this is our team. Okay.
And just last question, perhaps. So, what makes it your startup unique, and what do you think will make this a very big success?
Yeah. Okay. First, we believe in our technology. That produced in our labs in local market. This is the first reason. Also, we believe in green hydrogen as a green future, as a green fuel of the future. So the market is very important from now.
Thank you.
I can make some slides. So okay, just so just the slide. We have a time, or okay. Just talking about what our first customer is. We sold the first machine. And he said it is revolutionary. We have other market like shipbuilding, industries, let's say, and factory, marine offshore operation. As our IP strategy, we have 2 national affiliate patent and license agreement with the Digital Research Center of Sfax and HealthTech legally created on May 2022. We got startup label. So next, I think. Okay, so we're not alone. We work with an ecosystem composed by incubator, by industrial partner, and digital and research and development partner. Also, this is the ask to launch our first series of machine. Which will be divided in team raw material and manufacturing. As Melistonius, we will process the certification from now. We will process the certification way to launch production and selling. So I talk about team. So with HealthTech, I think hydrogen is the future. Thank you.
Hydrogen is the future. Thank you. No more questions?
I just want to say well done. That's the true spirit of an entrepreneur right there. Pivoting on stage live. Good job.
Thank you.
Thank you. That was HealthTech. Now, next startup, Cumulus. Mr. Ihab.
تنجم تجرب. Great. Should I start? Hi everyone. At Cumulus, we aim to disrupt the drinking water market. So I'll start with the problem that we all heard about, if this works. Yeah. So we live in a world where we have lower precipitation, increasing demand on water, and on the other side you have unreliable systems for water distribution. So access to drinking water is becoming a big issue in all countries, even developed ones. Sorry for that. So, and the actual solutions are either very expensive, very pollutant, desalination, bottled water, and you cannot see it here, but it's the water filters. The issue with water filters is they do not work when you don't have water, or the quality of water is very bad. So the concept of Cumulus is to replicate the natural phenomena. The first one is the dew phenomena, and the second one is the mineralization. It's a software and a hardware. The hardware part is a machine the size of a mini fridge, producing every day 20 to 30 liters of drinking water. It can be solar powered. The software part, remote control, remote monitoring, and predictive algorithms that allow us to optimize and improve the production of the machine. This is one part of the DeepTech. We're talking DeepTech today. So how does the machine works? It can connect to any power source. The air is filtered through the neck. It's cooled down. You cannot see it as well. The slide is cut. And then after cooling it down, you create the water. After that, it goes through a maze of filters and mineralizers, and you have water of the quality of the EU norms, better than what's in 80% of the market compared to the competition. Here as well, a glimpse, where is the DeepTech? DeepTech in the process of how to create the water, DeepTech in the mineralization and the filters to create drinking water EU level, and DeepTech in the embedded system, how to gather the data and make use of it. The web app, we spoke about it, which is the ability to gather data, monitor the system as well. We're B2B focused, so we sell to any institution that is distributing water in plastic bottles. So hotels, offices, factories, and also construction sites. And we address 3 pain points for them. We're cheaper, less plastic, so better for the environment, and less logistics to manage. Our business model is a subscription-based business model. For one machine, 20 to 30 liters of drinking water per day, you multiply it by as much as you need in terms of water need. It's $1,700 per year, and it allows you to install the machine, and we do the maintenance for you. We change the filters, mineralizers, and we update the system if you need it. It represents a saving, water saving of 10 to 50% for the customers. In addition to 2 tons of CO2 and about 500 kilograms of plastic per year per machine. So what has been done? The water quality and the water quantity has been confirmed. We have Bureau Veritas who has been testing our water for the last 6 to 9 months. Patents submitted. We submitted 2 patents, and we're working in 2 other patents. We have the CE marking that has been obtained as well. And then the contracts. More than 18 contracts signed, 10 machines already delivered, $100,000 of revenue. We started sales in the month of May of this year with very interesting customers. So we have PwC, Ernst & Young, AfricInvest in offices. We have luxurious hotels. I don't know if you saw La Badira last week there. There was our machine. And we have also big names like Sanofi and Orange who also bought machines. The 2 co-founders, so I'm graduate from École Polytechnique in France, UC Berkeley in the US, started my career at the Boston Consulting Group, and then 10 years of investment in private equity in renewable energy and water. And Mohamed Ali, graduate from École Polytechnique and Mines de Paris, 5 years of technical experience in process engineering. And then the team, of which we're very proud. So it's a team over 3 sites, 3 countries. We are in Tunis, we're in Paris, we are in Madrid. Here you can see the dots because we're talking deep tech. So the stars are PhDs, and the circles are masters or engineers. So we have 4 PhDs in the company and 6 master degrees / engineers. And of course, since we're going to the market now, you have a lot of business developers in Spain, France, and Tunisia as well, and maintenance people. These are the patents that have been submitted in Tunisia and in France. Path to growth. Last year we raised $1 million. It allowed us to reach this level of development. We're now seeking to raise $2 million. We already closed the bridge round of 1.1 million cashed, and we're now looking for a lead investor to allow us to go to the next level, which will allow us to reach $1 million of revenue by end of next year. And I'd like to grab the opportunity of these last seconds to show you some examples and to let you taste the water. So this one is Fondation Carmignac in south of France in an island. This one is AfricInvest, and this one is in school.
Thank you, Ihab. That was a great pitch. That was Cumulus. I choose. Okay, go, Max. Because you were like thinking.
Thank you. Great presentation. Thank you. Impressive. I did see your machine at La Bidera, and as soon as I saw the picture, I knew it was you. It's very unique looking. Is the team, is that a full-time team? That's a very large team, so that's a full-time team.
We're 7 in Tunis, 7 in Paris, and 1.2 in Spain.
Okay.
So I'm curious about the software component. I think you mentioned you have a hardware component and a software component, and the software can function without the hardware, or is it compulsory to function within the hardware element? And have you considered having the software plug into others?
Super good question. So it's the next level, which is maybe white labeling it and using it with other machines. For now, the vision of Cumulus is to become the water utility of the future. So our objective is to have the software working with our product and then working with other products as well. So once you hit a hotel with the drinking water, you can upsell with other components using the same software.
Thank you so much for the presentation, very quality and very interesting. I have a question about the hardware part of the machine. You said that it could be plugged to any kind of power, and including solar power. Can you elaborate a bit on this? And
Sure.
It seems obvious that it would open up new market perspectives as well. So I would love to hear your strategy, how your product development strategy is linked to your market expansion strategy.
Sure. So initially the vision of Cumulus was from water scarcity to water abundance, because we use abundant resources, solar power and air. But then we found out that 99.9% of our customers have electricity. First conclusion. And second conclusion, solar energy is becoming very mature. It's very easy to buy today PV panels, batteries and an inverter, and you have a stable source, quasi-stable source of electricity. And we used it and we did it in the desert. So we decided to focus on the product itself. And then it's right, it opens the door to a lot of sites, like the off-grid sites as well.
Does it work in any climate? Does the dew point have to be a certain level? Will it work in a dry climate like Arizona?
Very good question. Yeah. So DeepTech part, the process. It's called the process. How to extract water for a given climate. When it's too cold, it becomes very difficult. When it's too dry, it becomes very difficult. And our objective is to extract a few liters at that time when the liter is very valuable. So that's the long answer. The short answer is no, it doesn't work everywhere. There are some places where you produce more than the others.
And I have a question about your team composition. Is it specialized? Like, do you have operations somewhere and the research somewhere? Like, how is it set up?
It's super. So first thing, DeepTech for me is also the capacity of teams of multiple sectors working with each other, and there is specialization. So there are people in process, water, embedded systems, and there is the business development team and the maintenance team. So R&D, tech, maintenance is our team.
Thank you. Thank you. That was Cumulus. You have great job. Thank you, jury. You have a few moments to finish your job of jury. What I would like to tell the audience is that you are very welcome. It's 2 p.m. We are running exactly 30 minutes late. If you want to help the organization and also help yourself to be on time for the party tonight, if we can have like a 30-40 minutes break rather than an hour, if it's possible, if we can get back here like 30-40 minutes, that would be great. That will help us finish on time this afternoon. We're very happy to see you here with us. So where are the volunteers? Les volontaires? Can you raise your hands so they can see you here and there? You can just not lose time and straight follow them. There is 1, 2 also. There's 1, 2 there. I don't know how you're gonna show them the way there. To the restaurant, there you can follow them to the restaurant. Otherwise, you won't find it. So please just stand up now and start following them. You will network at lunch. Do not start networking now. Just run after. They're running. They left already. Go, go, go. Have a nice lunch. Bon appétit. See you in like 30 minutes, please, if it's possible.